Hi everyone. Today I am in my garage and I am working on building a engine stand to be able to run an engine equipped with transmission, headers, radiator, the whole 9 yards. I'm doing this because I've got several engines that I'm going to be rebuilding and I need to test them. The first one is going to be the 289 from my stepdad's 55 Ford pickup truck. We are getting really close to getting that thing going and we need to test run it before stick it in the engine. He's got some work to do on the cab. We want to get the cab on there first before we stick the engine in there. The stand that I want to build, I have basically two requirements for it. Well, technically three. One, has to be strong enough to carry the weight of the engine and be able to take the torque of the engine when it's running and we're revving it up and stuff. Two, I want it to be able to be easily adjustable for different size engines. So the 289 is kind of a small engine. I've got bigger engines that I'm going to be testing in the future, so I want it to be adjustable. And three, I want it to be able to be taken completely apart into small, manageable pieces and be thrown in a corner somewhere without taking up real estate, because I don't have a lot of real estate. So, all right, I'll go ahead and get the time lapse going and we'll get on this. Okay, well, the battery's died on the camera again, as usual. I don't know where it stopped yet, but anyway, I got all the nuts welded onto these, got all the lock nuts off, bolts out of it, and I'm ready to move on to the next step. It's gonna get with it.
Okay, I got it together enough now. You guys can kind of see what I'm after. So, going to have wheels welded under here going down to the floor on both sides, there and there. And then these brackets in here are the runners that will go up to the motor mounts. Up here I will weld probably some flat plates. In the case of the 289, that's what we need. But anything can be welded to these. I got it up high enough too. This is about 2 feet, so that you can actually work on the motor with it in this rack. These are adjustable, will slide back and forth for larger or smaller engines. Now I may have to cut this at a 45 and put an angle bracket up here to get further in for the 289, but that's okay, I'll do that. On the back then, I don't know why now that I think about it, I don't know why I put this nut on the front of this. Oh yeah, I do. So on the front of this, then you'll be able to slide another one of these inside of that, and then we'll be able to mount the radiator to the front of it. On the back, another one, in fact that one right there, will slide in the back. One of these will have another wheel, a crazy wheel on it, all the way to the back, and that one will have another one of these uprights on it, which will bolt to the transmission. So it'll have 3 mounts, just like the engine and transmission sits in the car. Then this thing is completely, you can dismantle this thing entirely. It'll adjust to any size engine, and off we go. So hope that helps. Now you guys can kind of vision what I'm seeing there, and what I wanted to build. Okay, well that's gonna do it for today. It's about 80 degrees in here, and it's getting too hot for me, and I'm just kind of out of gas. So whenever I work on this again, I'll do it, but you guys aren't gonna notice it because we will be right back. Alright, I'm back in the shop again today, working on the engine running stand, and I've been working on it off camera, so let me show you what I've got done to it here. I have these welded on for the engine mount. I have the holes drilled in this. Originally I was just gonna cut these at an angle and weld a plate on it, but what I've decided to do is take the plate and weld these tabs on it and put a pivot on these plates so that they will tilt back and forth for different angles of motor mounts on different engines and stuff. And then on the wheels, I was just going to weld the wheels directly to these parts here, and then I got to thinking, well, if I weld them, then I won't be able to change the wheels. So I went ahead and made some plates and drilled holes in these for the wheels. This one, the wheel is big enough that I can just weld it directly to it, and the bolts will all go through the holes and bolt in, and I can get the bolts in and out. These were a little bit narrower wheel, and so I wasn't able to do that, so I had to put the spacer in there to space it up so I could get the bolts in it. So I've got them tacked in place, and I'm just getting ready to finish welding those, and then I'll get this welded onto here. I'll get these welded onto the plates here, and then I've got to make the upright for the transmission mount, and also create another plate for the transmission mount. Once I have that done, then I can go ahead and assemble this thing, and you can see what it looks like. So let me get the camera set up on a time lapse, and I will get rolling on this thing. Once again, batteries died on my camera. I actually shut the camera off, looked at the stopped the camera recording, looked at the battery, it was about 50%, shut the camera off, went in and had lunch, came back a while later, and the camera wouldn't power up anymore. I don't know if it kicked back on and then drained the battery or what happened, but anyway, I put the batteries on the charger and I wanted to get this thing done, so I just went ahead and kept working without recording it. So I got the last two pieces done. I got the upright for the transmission mount done. It's the larger tube, so that this one will slide inside of it this way, like this, and it is adjustable up and down for various size engines. So that is all ready to go. I also tapped all of the nuts so that they were nice and clean and ready to go. I re-drilled these just to make sure, and ground some of the welds out. Some of the welds that slopped over into the holes on these. So I got that figured out, or got that completed. And then, yeah. So what I'm ready for now is final assembly. I was just looking on here to see if I could find a decent weld, but yeah, this was not too bad. You can kind of see what the weld looks like. I am not a consistent welder. Some of them look good, some of them don't. One problem I have with the welders that I have, which I got from Paul, is that it's a 120 volt welder. It won't even work on a 15 amp breaker, but you put it on a 20 amp breaker and you can weld for a little bit, then you got to stop and let the breaker cool down, otherwise it blows the breaker. So it's constantly blowing on me, so I can only do small welds, which is very frustrating. Starting and stopping just makes the welds look terrible. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do the final assembly on this thing. Okay, well, here it is. I gotta say that these things, they're a little tall. The whole thing is a lot higher than I thought. You know, 2 feet seem to be about right up in the air, but that means that the engine's going to be sitting, you know, this high, which I guess for working on it and checking it out underneath and everything, it'll be fine. But what I can do, if I find that it is too high, I can re-drill these down lower and then just cut them off and drop that whole thing down, which I may end up doing. That one back there is adjustable up and down, so whatever I cut these off to, I'll have to lower that down all the way to the bottom and then cut these accordingly. Also, these bars here stick out probably more than they need to. Even with a big block engine in there, I think it still is probably more. So what I'll probably do is get some more of this and cut some shorter pieces to put in here. But there's nothing special about this piece here. It's just a 2-inch square tubing, and it can be any length on there. It doesn't matter. There's no nuts or bolts or anything on those. They just slide in. Same with the one in the back too. But anyway, oh, and this thing rolls really nice. So if I can go there. So there we go. I'm not gonna paint it yet. We'll do a trial run with my stepdad's 289 engine and see what it is. I'm probably gonna leave it that high for now. We're definitely stable enough. I can widen those wheels out as far as I need to make it stable. So I'm not really concerned about that. So I think that's gonna do it for now. I'm gonna go ahead and disassemble this and take it to my stepdad's house and put the motor on there. So there you have it. That's the engine stand for running an engine. That's gonna do it for this video. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Okay, well, we made it over to my stepdad's house, and we got the got his engine in the stand that I built.